Hello everybody, Average Gamer. Welcome to another beginner's tutorial. In this episode, refueling. So firstly, refueling is just like resupplying when it comes to ground troops. For example, to resupply ground troops, you just run a supply aircraft over them. So theoretically, they would drop the supplies. Or use ground vehicles, trucks, to bring up supplies, so fuel, weapons, ammo, things like that. Or even helicopters. Now, for ships, only ships can be used to supply them. So big tanker trucks, tanker ships. Now, this can be kind of complicated, mainly because the way ships are utilized, just like aircraft, they all run at different speeds. So how can you get over this, which we'll get into momentarily? You can get around that, no problem. In conjunction with all that, there is also the abilities for aircraft. Same issues, different speeds. There's only two ways to supply aircraft. Number one is ships, so LSTs, short deck carriers like your Ticonderoga class, or I think it's Iwo Jima class that the Marines use in the United States, for example, or the Charles de Gaulle out of the French, or even the I think it's the Indomitable class that the British use currently. And the Kirov class, I think it's Kirov class, that the Russians use, the short deck ones. I think they only have two left. They sold one to China, which is now a museum piece in the middle of China, completely landlocked. But I digress. And then the other way, obviously, is tanker aircraft. The classic, the airplane flies in behind the big KC-130, the big KC-130 strato tanker, and the little boom comes out, and it flies into it, and slightly phallic insertion, fuels. Usually during a movie they make some sort of gas station joke, and then they go on. Now, not every aircraft has the ability to refuel. Every warship does. The way to refuel warships is just have a tanker within, I think it's 1 or 2 blocks, and that is it. It refuels immediately, and that is all. Best way to do that is to actually set up battle groups for warships and have it just set up so that what'll happen is once the ships get low supply, they'll just go within distance of automatically said container ship, and there you go. Now, there's obviously the issue of ships going different speeds. Best way to do this is to, as I said, set up a battle group like I have right here, or even set up a group. What I've done, as if you notice, I will move the carrier and unpause. None of these ships move. Now, one thing you can do, for example, is to tell, we'll sort through all this here. And let's, we'll just tell everybody to escort the aircraft carrier. Now, what you'll notice is that as we tell everyone to go north of the Philippines here, aircraft carrier is the fastest. These destroyers here are pretty much the same speed, but if you notice, they slowly are getting slower. These patrol boats here are obviously massively slower, and of course, the tankers are the slowest, right? So your problem is going to be not so much the supply, it's going to be these guys here running out of supply, and then these guys playing catch up. Best way to do this is set up everyone in a battle group. So right here, we have them set up as battle group 1. So here's all the ships in battle group 1. You double click to select the battle group. Now, make sure you have the orders button open up, and you'll notice this is grayed out. Hit shift. Turn this on, and this should automatically be off. Turn this on. This is the ability to go with the same speed. This is to stay within formation. So you're going to want pretty much everyone to stay within formation anyways, because it's obviously a fleet. So what you can do too is set up your fleet exactly how you want it. So we're going to tell the carrier to be here. You're going to be in the middle. This destroyer is going to be here. This destroyer is going to be here. We're going to have another destroyer up front a little bit. Another one to the right. Another one to the left. Then we're going to have 2 in the back. And then we're going to keep the remaining 2 escort destroyers in the middle. There's 2 remaining patrol craft in the middle because they have anti-submarine option. Oh, no, they don't. Shitty ships. And then the two obviously, transports. Now, what you can do, I'm going to cough, I do apologize. So what you're going to do, double click the battle group, and you'll notice it's automatically saying, everyone's going to go here. Hit shift, and you'll notice immediately that everyone will be staying pretty much in the same spot, which is good. I liked using this for my ships because I'll know that the carrier, for example, in my battle group is being protected because it is going to be in the middle. Now, make sure that this button here is turned on. It's highlighted in yellow because initially it'll be grayed out. Turn this on, and wherever you pick, so we're going to tell the fleet to go right here. They're now all going to go at the exact same speed. And because they're all within distance of the transports, they will stay supplied. 100%. And if by chance something to occur to where one of the ships is too far out of range, I think one of these might be a little far. No. If somehow one of the ships becomes a little too far out of the range, what will happen is, I apologize, I'm getting little messages here. Anyways, what will then happen is that ship will actually speed up and go to the tanker, refuel, and then go back to its position, which is almost realistic, to be honest with you. So that's the best way to refuel and keep your warships going and good to go. Now with aircraft, you can do the same thing. So we can highlight all our F-15Ks here and get one of our KC-130s, get them all together, and it'll pretty much do the same thing. Hit shift, tell them to all go the same way. Okay, I want you to do an air patrol to there for me, please. Shift, please. There we go. Air patrol, same speed to there. And then they'll all go back and forth. So what'll happen is, in this case, the K2... Actually, they're going a little faster. Yeah, there's a little bit of a bug. Now, what will happen as you watch, these aircraft should theoretically suddenly jump at this KC-130 when they get low on fuel. The problem is they keep going right over the KC-135. But you can do this. So firstly, you can set up a whole group. Tell the whole group to do this all together. Tell them to go on patrol, a couple of fighters, and the transport. What will then happen is once the transport runs out of fuel, it will go, land, but then it will go right back into its patrol point. Now, this is a good way to just do your border patrols. Usually what I will do on some of my own personal games, I'll order all these guys back to the airbase. This will take a second because it's... Whoa! Hello? Game all of a sudden going like 3 frames a second. There we go. So now what I'll also do is do the same thing but larger. So, you'll have like 30 or 40 aircraft, say, and a couple, KC-135 Stratotankers, etc., etc. And I forgot to show something. Shit. So, what I forgot to show you was the actual icons. So, what you're actually going to want to see for your transport aircraft, for example, KC-135, we want this. This icon right here, it says, unit is fuel tanker. Even though sometimes an aircraft says it is a tanker, it may not be. Meaning that it's used to tank, like supplies basically, to go from station, like a fuel tanker from A to B. It's not actually used for aircraft. It's not actually designed to actually put fuel in aircraft. So it's actually used to go to a third-party base, land there, and fuel those aircraft. It's stupid. It's basically a supply. It's basically a supply vehicle. What you also want to do is make sure that your aircraft have this ability, where it says it can be mid-air refueled. Mid-air refuel is a big deal. So you want to make sure that, one, it's just a picture of an airplane with the down arrow to the right, meaning that it has the character or the characteristics of outputting of refueling in midair, and this one is the inputting of midair refueling. So, as I said, there's the little group thing that you can set up and tell them all to patrol, and every time they go over the aircraft, they will automatically refuel. In my eyes, this is the easiest way. It's something simple, but as requested by the gentleman there, what if you're taking aircraft from one location to another? You can't just do that, right? Well, what you can do, highlight everybody, make sure they're all in a battle group, and I believe they are. Battle group 8, perfect. What's going to happen is something very, very interesting. I'll highlight you and tell you to patrol from there to there. We're going to take this KC-135, tell it to go here. Then we're going to tell it to air patrol from here to, say, here. Naturally, a F-15 Strike Eagle can go to about this area here. I'm going to tell him to go here. So so an F-15K can go to roughly this line here before it has any fuel issues. And then we're going to get another one. So let's go over here. And we're going to tell it to go right about here at a air patrol. This is pretty much the way the U.S. Air Force does it, and I like it. And you go there. And last but not least, you... Oh crap, where does this guy go? Does he go about here? Yep, we're going to tell him to go here. The U.S. Air Force does this all along the east and west coasts. We'll have KC-135 Stratotankers in basically holding patterns. And the Canadian Air Force does this as well. I think the British and the German Air Forces do it. The Russians do not. They'll send their only if there's aircraft out and about doing things, then they'll actually send their tankers out. And there we go. So this one's going to patrol here to here. Now, here are F-15 Strike Eagles. First things first, we're going to tell them to go here. We're going to highlight them a second time. We're actually going to go back to normal speed here. And I'm going to tell them to air patrol all the way to Hawaii. Probably thinking to yourself, well, what the fuck? That is insane. Like, they only have a range of, I think it's 1,000 kilometers. Watch this. You'll notice immediately these guys here go towards the closest tanker. This one here did turn back because there wasn't enough fuel for the tanker. So you have to always remember to have enough aircraft in your basically your setup to do it. So now you'll notice, as we set it up here, as they come up to the next tanker, whoever has the lowest amount of fuel will actually speed up the quickest and actually get to it the quickest. So they'll actually change speeds as they go. Let's see, there goes the other one right there. So you notice how these guys all of a sudden sped up real quick to catch up to the KC-135. And boom, they now have refueled. You'll notice all of them, well, 98%. And then here comes old Slowpoke McGee here. And that is the best way right there to set up refueling. Put them in a battle group. That way they'll know basically what groups are their actual supply units. One of the main usages of battle groups, in my eyes, is aircraft and warships. That way they'll know who the supply unit is in their battle group, and they'll work in accordance. Another way, as I've said, is to set it up with ground forces as well. And those specific supply units will supply those specific ground units. So you can have supply trucks, supply aircraft, supply helicopters. We'll supply just those units. so you can have a distinct advantage over your enemy. So here you go. So for those of you who want to do massive attacks on other countries around the world, here you go. This is the classic daisy chain for mid-air refueling for long-range transport of aircraft, or even long-range the thing that I'm thinking of. And I'll actually show you right here the way transport actually works real quick. I'm going to send one of these aircraft back. And I'm just going to mute myself for a quick second here while I blow my nose. Sorry about that. So this one is going to speed back here. We're going to let him get to 100% fuel. Perfect. And we're going to tell him, I just want you... Just go there for me. So you'll notice he'll immediately go... What the hell was this? Oh wait, which one are we... Alright, so we have two guys that are doing the exact... Oh, but you'll notice right there. They're in the battle group, so they will automatically defer to whatever aircraft are designated as their supply aircraft. And they'll go all the way to your designated location, even if it's landing on an airbase. So there you go. Quick, simple refueling. As I said, you can do this with ground units as well, with designated supply trucks, helicopters, aircraft, and yeah, warships as well. You're in a battle group. You spread that battle group around whenever there's something needs refueling to a certain point. It'll make a beeline to its supply unit. So you can actually make fleets that are doing specific things in certain areas. So you can have like a South China Sea fleet down here, for example, doing a whole bunch of different things, and then having the supply trucks or supply tankers just going, you know, from say here to here, and then have another one from here to here, and just have them moving around, or even just like that. And then when a destroyer or a cruiser needs fuel, it just goes back to that ship and gets fuel. I don't do this much because I obviously like leave a lot of my units in reserve just to conserve on money and fuel and stuff like that. But if you ever need to send troops overseas and do stuff, well, there you go. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time on the battlefield. Bye bye.